Chat Cave with Mike and Max.
Welcome back to the Chat Cave here on McGTV. That's youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. As always, we're your hosts, Mike McG and
Max Andrews. Hello, how's it going?
It's going well, sir, going well. Before we get into the Batman portion of things here, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Wonder Woman. She turned 75 today, I believe.
All right, joining the 75-year club. Batman made it in, what was it, last year?
Yeah, I want to say it was last year, and Superman the year before, or maybe a year or two before that.
All right, so soon we'll have the whole Justice League in there, and they can all be senior citizens together.
Yeah, essentially. So, but really quick before we do, to kind of tie it into Batman, do you have a favorite Batman and Wonder Woman moment, either in comics or in the animated series or anything like that they shared? Anything come to mind for you?
My favorite Batman and Wonder Woman moment is actually off the Justice League, I think it's Justice League Unlimited cartoon. Mm-hmm. The episode where Wonder Woman gets turned into a pig. And
yeah.
And she goes to a slaughterhouse and she frees all the pigs from the slaughterhouse. So, they have a pretty good interaction. Batman's over there trying to catch her, and he's got to do all these things. And it was just a really solid episode. It's kind of one of the lighter-hearted episodes. And when I think of Batman and Wonder Woman together, I always first think of that.
Yeah, I think because I own the whole series on DVD, and I listened to the commentary for that episode. I think one of their big inspirations was Buffy, and so they're like, well, let's have this where they had an episode where Buffy was turned into a rat. Let's turn Wonder Woman into a pig, and who would do Circe was the one who did it. So
yeah,
and it just got really crazy in there and so forth. And yeah, Batman was kind of playing the straight man to all the shenanigans.
Yep, I think that was the only episode where Kevin Conroy actually got to use his singing talents.
As Batman, yeah. I think he sang on a couple of episodes before. I think he sang in Batman Beyond, but it wasn't as Batman. It was as a Broadway actor or something playing Batman on stage or something. So yeah, it was the first time Batman Kevin Conroy got to sing a little bit. I'd have to say my favorite Batman Wonder Woman moment, probably it's from the Justice League series as well. It was actually in the episode that was adapted from Alan Moore's Superman story for The Man Who Has Everything. Mm-hmm. Where Batman and Wonder Woman, in the original story, it was Batman, Wonder Woman, and Jason Todd as Robin who go to visit Superman on his birthday in the fortress, and shenanigans happen as usual. But in the adaptation, it's just Wonder Woman and Batman, and she's flying her invisible jet there and takes a sudden dive into the Arctic water. Batman's like, that was a little abrupt, don't you think? And she's like, sorry if I scared you. And just their dynamic back and forth is really fun because she calls him out for getting Superman a gift certificate. And he's like, no, I didn't. I got him cash. So it's really kind of fun banter that they have and so forth. So yep, happy 75 Wonder Woman, you grand old gal, and yep, you made it up there with the rest of the Trinity in years, and looking forward to the rest of the league getting old as well. So I believe the United Nations or something were giving her an official title today or something like Ambassador for Women and Young Girls Everywhere, Positive Role Model, Ambassador of Positive Role Model for Women and Young Girls, I believe was the title.
Awesome.
So, cool.
It's about time she was recognized for her work in role modeling.
Yeah. I think that's kind of cool too, because that was her whole setup in the comics, is that she is an ambassador in a way. So
indeed.
But this isn't a Wonder Woman podcast. This is a Batman podcast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
In a way, Wonder Woman had Linda Carter in the 70s. We're here to talk about the return to form for Batman from the 60s. Adam West and Burt Ward offered their voices once more for the dynamic duo in a direct-to-DVD animated film entitled Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders. in which we continue the adventures of the two from the 66 show. I believe this actually did get a Fathom event for its release as well.
Yes, it did.
So if you're one of those people who did the Fathom event, maybe you could let us know like what extra features were offered for the screening. But I just saw straight up the movie itself. I haven't checked out any of the special features or anything like that. How about yourself?
No, I only watched the film. I didn't get a physical copy. I downloaded it, so I only had there wasn't any other options.
So what we have here first off is, again, it's kind of a continuation of the show. It does have Adam West back as Batman, Burt Ward back as Dick Grayson / Robin, and also Julie Newmar as Catwoman. And then a couple of people imitating the other super criminals and supporting cast, because, let's face it, a lot of those people have passed away, probably.
Yep.
So, basic setup, it's very similar to Batman. If you've seen any episode of the 66 show, it kind of follows that format. It feels a lot like what those shows would be stretched out over 2 episodes at least. It feels like this is almost a 2-part episode stretched out to feature format, the same way the 66 movie was. And it follows Batman and Robin trying to stop Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman from endangering the city with their schemes. And at one point, they come across a situation in which there's an even worse enemy for Gotham City, Batman himself.
Yeah, like it was really, you get the feel, you're thrown right back into the feel of the 66 show. If you're a big fan of that, then I think you're gonna like this movie. I thought the Riddler, the guy who they had impersonating, what's that guy's, Gorshin?
Frank Gorshin, yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it as much. I thought everyone else was pretty spot on, but I don't know why I didn't really like the Riddler. But other than that, yeah, it's a solid, it's right back to the Batman 66 that you know and love. And I was actually surprised that Burt Ward, Adam West just has to do his Batman voice, which is his voice, but Burt Ward was was young when and doing a high-pitched kind of voice when they were filming, and this is 40 years later, so I was really surprised that his voice seemed like really just spot on.
Yeah.
For that, I thought it'd be a little deeper, a little more, adult.
No, I mean you could kind of tell, especially with we've heard Adam West so much, not just in Batman related stuff, but like on Family Guy and other things, that when we hear Burt Ward again, and when we, especially Julie Newmar, there's a little bit you can tell. Yeah, there's a little bit more, I want to say, roughness to their voices. But at the same time, yeah, there's a lot of high energy going for Burt Ward's performance. That, yeah, it feels like we haven't missed a beat with his Robin. And same with Julie Newmar, I feel. You can kind of tell, yeah, it's being played by somewhat of an older woman, but it still sounds like Catwoman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The only one that I could really, even tell for sure, was, again, the Riddler. And not to say that guy did a really bad job. It's just, that was the one I could pick out the most that was off a little bit.
Honestly, the Riddler one, for me, for a long while before I saw who it really was who was doing the voice, it sounded like John Glover from the animated series. Because whenever I heard John Glover on the animated series, his voice always reminded me of Frank Gorshin. So it felt a shade off of Gorshin for me. But yeah, you could tell it's like he's trying for it, but it's not fully on there. The person doing Cesar Romero, his Joker, that was pretty spot on, I felt.
Yeah.
And he was also the narrator.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, the Joker was good. Penguin, I thought, was spot on too. And yeah, no, it was just a good feel. I'm gonna start getting into spoiler stuff. So if you have not seen the movie, from this point on, just come back, leave. Yeah,
I think we're pretty much. If I didn't spoil a little bit of already without getting into detail, but yeah, we're both saying very much like the 66 movie. You should check this out if you enjoy the 66 series for what it is. Again, it's not the darkest representation of Batman that you're probably used to. Like, oh yeah, this is totally up there with Nolan's Batman or Affleck. Now it's like, nope. Yeah.
It did get pretty dark for the 66 Batman.
Yeah.
Compared to,
but at the same time,
compared to the newer ones.
this is getting into the spoiler part of it too, but it has a very meta couple of moments in the movie. Yeah, go ahead. What are some moments there that you don't mind spoiling now?
I like the whole contrived evil plot. I thought that was a good. They have the replicator Ray, and these villains. They decide like, okay, well, since we can't work with each other and we can't all own Gotham City, we'll just make 4 Earths, and we'll each rule our own Gotham City on our own Earth.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the physics involved in that. Like, if you just create another Earth right next to this one,
it throws the whole solar system out of whack.
Yeah, much less 3 or 4 of them. So I thought that was pretty good. The best part about this is when Batman starts to turn. I think it's just when he starts reading off like the Frank Miller lines and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That was probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because so the twist in that, along with the replicator Ray, which honestly, when I thought we were done with the replicator Ray, I thought it wasn't coming back until Batman has it come back in a very hilarious way. But Catwoman tries to hypnotize or seduce Batman to join the dark side, as it were, with Batnip, and like sprays him, or no, not sprays him with it, but scratches him with it. That's what it is. And it slowly takes effect. It doesn't take effect immediately. So Bruce Wayne starts to get irritable, and hearing Adam West do Bruce Wayne like mildly irritated about stuff and then going to extremes, firing Alfred over letting Aunt Harriet into the room. Yeah. Oh, and then Alfred he gets fired with such dignity and grace. Mm-hmm. Like this I'll keep saying it. The 1989 movies Alfred is the worst Alfred of all time. But this Alfred got fired for letting Aunt Harriet, into the room where the door for the secret passageway is to the Batcave. Now, the other Alfred lets people into the Batcave, never got fired. Yep, so Adam West steps it up a little bit more than Michael Keaton did. And like you said, speaking of Frank Miller's version of Batman and Michael Keaton, then Adam West starts reciting like Michael Keaton lines. He says he's like, you want to get nuts? Yeah. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. And like you said, he does the Frank Miller, this isn't a space station, it's an operating room, and I'm the surgeon. Oh, man. So good. And, the movie plays well into this kind of in-joke, because it is very tongue-in-cheek and it's very aware of what it's doing, because all the sound effects you would expect in a Batman fight, you see the big zop or pow sound effects when they're in battle, they suddenly turn into like really dark sounding things, descriptors like impale or gouge. Didn't it say like rib shatter or something like that one time? I'll have to rewatch it again. But yeah, like shatter or fracture, I think was one of them. Yeah. As he like slams Penguin's jaw into the wall or something. It's just funny. Oh, in regards to that. He gets so brutal. It's great. And then like that's what I like too, is that it's a nod to the fans. I mean, it was a serious nod when he starts reciting the lines, because that's when obviously he starts breaking people's bones, so you notice something's up. But he starts saying the lines, and I'm like, 66 Batman would never say that. Like, now something's up. And then obviously he goes pretty nuts. I liked like Robin is shocked and appalled that Batman would take it that far. And he's like, we're not on Earth anymore. I don't really, we're not held by any laws out here. Yeah. And so he's totally cool with just laying waste to all these villains. It was that was the best scene I thought of the whole movie. But yeah, it just gets better and better as you notice, like as more the poison starts to work more, and Bruce just gets more and more insane. Like how he cusses out
the Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were watching TV, and he goes in there. He's like, "The worst thing you can do is sit around. Taxpayers are paying their money for you to do your job, and you're sitting around watching TV. Shame on you."
Shame. Turn in your uniforms, and they just start stripping right there. Okay, so again, mega spoilers here because I'm gonna agree with you. My favorite part of the movie is just when he's Dark Batman and he's starting to become Dark Batman and trading those lines, and the movie is kind of fully aware of like, yeah, we're gonna make fun of these darker interpretations because it's kind of cool. That's the great thing about this particular version of the character or the franchise is that it can be very self-parodying, but do it in a very loving way. It's like it's not being too harsh on itself or on other interpretations. It's paying homage to those interpretations, but with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
But then this is where it kind of felt like this is where the animation is helping out, because if they ever tried to do an episode like this live action, it would be the biggest budget for one of the shows. Batman, now in full-on everything will be better if I ran it mode, steals the replicator ray and starts duplicating himself over and over and over to pretty much do everything in the city. Like I mentioned before, he tells Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara to turn in their uniforms and pretty much replaces them with himself. And it's like Batman wearing his cape and cowl in his uniform, but then putting on the commissioner's like jacket or Chief O'Hara's uniform on top of his costume. And what he's his Chief O'Hara impression is just him going Bagora. One of my favorite things is when Batman just goes full megalomaniac and just starts replicating himself to run the city, essentially. And it just gets crazy from there. You see Batman in like a nanny's outfit pushing a stroller down the sidewalk. You just see Batman going to work.
That nanny wasn't safe. Like the child was not safe with the nanny. It's best if Batman takes care of it.
Like it just goes full blown like Looney Tunes at that point, to the point where he doesn't need Robin anymore. Robin goes to Catwoman to be like, "Can you help me undo what you've done?" And the amount of out preparing each other that goes into that whole plot is very very funny, and kind of their solution to solving the multiple Batman crisis is again a very loving tribute to the show itself, because it's not just the 4 super criminals they're focusing on. They end up pulling like a lot of the rogues gallery from the TV show into one last fight.
Right.
And everyone's given a little bit of time to... Egghead's given a little bit of time to throw eggs at people. Mr. Freeze shows up and freezes one of the Batmen. It's kind of fun. It's a very loving tribute.
Was there a Bookworm cameo? I can't remember.
He might have been in the mix somewhere. I can't remember what he specifically did, but...
I think they show him in the beginning, but he was my favorite one out of the 66 series. He was my favorite villain that they just invented. But yeah, I think they just show him in the very beginning, like getting caught.
Yeah. But, we forgot to mention, like, this for animation, it still captures every little trope from the show really well. Again, whenever the villains are on screen, it goes to the Dutch angles, and the intro itself is very reminiscent of the show's intro. There's surprisingly a lot of really fun adult humor in this too that I feel adults will really like. The fact that Aunt Harriet suspects something going on every time Bruce and Dick say they're going on a fishing trip.
Yeah, but like she still doesn't figure anything out. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, because at first I thought she just knew, but then like it becomes obvious that she doesn't know what's going on. She just knows that something is going on.
Well, because Batman and Robin are so slick that they're like, well, surprise birthday party.
But yeah, so I like that too. I like Aunt Harriet in this one. When he starts to go bat crazy and he's like telling Aunt Harriet off. I mean, this is a room for men. What are you doing?
Yeah, you see a very chauvinistic side of Batman in this.
Oh man, absolutely ridiculous. I loved it. I was on board when he, as soon as he started to go nuts, and then they take it to its ultimate level of craziness with the whole Bat City. But it was just good. I was having fun this whole time, and that's really, I think, what they really captured the heart of the '66 show. And I'm hoping we get a few more of these movies. I'd like to see them do some of the retro characters. Like they have the Bane as the luchador.
Yeah.
In the '66 comic book. So hopefully they can pull some of that stuff.
Or like a Green Hornet team up, if there was a Green Hornet thing going. Too. I believe there is already a sequel in the works that was announced, and I believe it's going to introduce a '66 version of Two-Face to be voiced by William Shatner.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I can deal with that.
I remember one of my friends online kind of being like, I don't know, Shatner? And I tried to put it into perspective for him to kind of say like, well, think about it. If the '66 show had continued, I guarantee you Shatner would have been a Two-Face guest star on that show.
Half of the fun of the '66 show was, all these stars, disappearing as the villains, as these, totally random villains. So, I mean, if it would have carried on, who's to say, who else wouldn't have been in the show? Like, it's just, it allows for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely down for Shatner voicing Two-Face. That's going to be good. Like in an animation, and also with the writing, like you're saying, like it's very tongue in cheek, and they poke a lot of fun at everything, but it's also done with in a loving way with a lot of heart. So that they're all just joking with each other. They're not really making fun of the show or fun of Batman or whatever. So I think Shatner's a perfect fit for that because he's a really hammy actor, and he's not really known for how good he is at acting. He's known for how bad he is at acting and still getting parts. So I think he fits really well for this.
Yeah, I just can't wait so you can hear the combined forces of Shatner and Adam West and their very over-the-top, overly melodramatic line delivery.
I would like to see Mark Hamill get some work in this one, too. I think he would fit right in.
Well, because they've already got someone kind of assigned to the Joker, and I feel...
Well, I wouldn't want him to do the Joker.
Yeah, who could you envision Mark Hamill portraying in the '66 universe?
Ooh, I can't... I'm not even sure. I mean, Mark Hamill is so talented, too. Like, he could really do anything. I'm trying to think of who I would have him play.
Maybe that's food for thought. We might have to come back to this on another episode, or a remake revolution, perhaps. Plug. There we go. Yeah, I'm excited for more of these. I think it's kind of a good focus, especially for the DC animation side of things, to take for a little bit, because the latest offerings with regards to whether it was the New 52 inspired stuff, which they've still been fun and engaging, but where they're very self-serious, very dark, and especially when you come off of something like the Killing Joke adaptation, which was gonna be dark regardless, but kind of went off the rails with its darkness and with its kind of messed upness. It's kind of good to have a Batman animated feature that's a little bit lighter, but at the same time, it's fully aware of its lightness.
Yes, I would have Mark Hamill voice King Tut.
King Tut, there we go. I think that would be kind of a good. Yeah, there we go. So make that happen, DC. Mark Hamill for King Tut. I guess would you want to rate this on a numeric scale?
No, I think this is like Turtles. Like Batman '66 just works. It's not any, it's not very good, because it's not an exceptional piece of writing. The acting is, it's all good, but it's not like, no one's winning an Oscar for it, but you just like it. You have fun when you watch it. So I don't know that I can put this on the scale. I say definitely I enjoyed the crap out of it, but it's better than the sum of its parts.
Where the intention of the product is to embrace a certain amount of stupidity. I think it's perfectly fine. It captures the spirit really well of the original show. There's a lot of fun little in-jokes, from the giant death trap prop thing that they find their, they find their way to escape out of, the acidity of the dessert.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was so ridiculous.
To basically
lemon
also
meringue.
Yeah, the lemon meringue and the acidity of it loosens the ropes. Sure. The animation is really good too, and the way they're able to capture the aesthetic of the show in the animation and in the movements too. Like, Batman and Robin aren't overtly slick in their movements like they would be in something like the animated series or in Dawn of Justice or anything like that, but they move like they would in the show, essentially.
Or,
like I said,
because they're so true to the show, like, when the fight starts, Catwoman just stands off to the side.
Yes, that's true. All she does is, every time a fight starts, what she would do in the show, she would just kind of watch from the sidelines. And when someone came into her orbit, then she would, like, scratch him or something. But
it would be so, she doesn't really fight. And this one, actually, though, they give her a little moment where, the villains all turn on her, and she kicks a little bit of ass.
Oh yeah.
So I was happy that they did that, but at first, she's just off to the side, like,
Yeah, that's true.
So,
all the guys are fighting, and then you'll cut to her, like you said, just going. I'm trying to think. Maybe what we can end on here is this idea of: can you think of your favorite sight gag from the movie?
Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Since we're both recommending people check this out, it's like what we especially want them to be on the lookout for.
It was one of the machines in the Batcave. I can't remember. Oh, actually, when they're in the death trap, it says giant oven on the death trap.
Yes.
I lost it when I saw that.
Very, very much like in the show, everything that you can't really figure out what it is right away is labeled. Like the super prison is labeled like super prison. Yeah, I have to say that little detail is fun. I'd have to say my favorite sight gag from it is when Batman is approached by Catwoman, I think in the very first fight they all have together, and he gets hit on the head, and then he's seeing triple. So he sees Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, I believe, and Eartha Kitt's Catwoman all standing side by side. He's like, I'm seeing triple. And that's a fun, quick little sight gag that I really enjoyed. And I believe Eartha Kitt actually gets to say something. Or someone impersonating her gets to say something.
Right. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad you mentioned that. That was I really liked that they threw in there. Like, hey, there was more than one Catwoman in the show. Another thing this kind of doesn't fit at all with your little ending there. But
no, go for it.
I'd like to see the Batgirl. They didn't bring her into this one, so maybe next time they'll have Batgirl, so that'd be pretty cool too.
Is Yvonne Craig still alive? I mean, yeah, definitely that would be advantageous to them if she. Let's check really quick here.
Because we have the power of the internet
at our disposal. But if they were able to
your Bat computer, old.
No, she passed away.
Oh,
she passed away actually last summer.
Oh. Wow.
Age 78. That's the thing. I was like, I couldn't remember enough she passed away, but yeah, now it's coming back to me. There was a big deal about her passing away, so oh well.
But it'd still be cool to have Batgirl in there.
Tara Strong. I'm sure she could do a good Yvonne Craig impression. Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities to keep this franchise going so long as Adam West and Burt Ward are still there at the helm. Definitely.
Yeah. I think they're the linchpins to keep it working. But yeah, they did a great job on this one, and I was expecting a certain amount, but I was pleasantly surprised with how well they did this.
Yeah, and like I said, it's self-referential humor at its own expense, but it's done in a very loving way, not just in tribute to the original series, but in tribute to all these other incarnations of Batman that they gave a subtle jab towards. So Max and I are pretty much throwing our recommendation hats into the ring there. Check it out if you haven't. It's on. We saw it online. I got it off of iTunes, but I believe the Blu-ray and DVD is out now.
Yeah, I might actually buy this Blu-ray just to see the extra features and stuff. Yeah, it's really worth the watch.
My curiosity would be if they on the special features included it was a really bad TV special called Return to the Batcave or something, in which the further adventures of Adam and Bert, in which it was basically retelling the beginnings of the Batman TV show with reenactments, and they had what's his name, Jason Marsden. He's a voice actor, right? And you've seen him on stuff like he was on Step by Step as one of the girls' boyfriends or something. But you know him as a voice actor. He played Impulse and a couple of other voices on Young Justice.
Gotcha.
He played young Burt Ward, and then I forget who the other guy was who played. I think it was the main guy from 6 Feet Under.
Okay.
Who played
not Michael C. Hall.
Not Michael C. Hall, no, but I'll have to double check. But he played young Adam West, and it was just talking about like all the crazy production shenanigans that happened in the first, in the Batman TV show. Right. And it got a Lifetime movie at times. It was talking about like their financial issues and oh my God, Adam West is caught up in a scandal with a woman and so forth, whatever. But the framing around it was always flashing back to the present with actual Adam West and actual Burt Ward tracking down who stole the Batmobile from an exhibition, from like a car show. And so they were actually like tracking it down. It got him into weird Batman-y scenarios. I think Adam West had to do the what's the dance called? The Bat-Tussies. And surprise, surprise, guess who the thieves of the Batmobile were?
Cesar Romero.
He had passed on at this point.
All right, the ghost of Cesar Romero.
It was, I believe, Julie Newmar, not Catwoman, actual Julie Newmar, and actual Frank Gorshin.
Yeah.
Because apparently Frank Gorshin was just so in love with his Riddler character that after the show was canceled, he snapped. This is the story. This is the story in the actual special, I think. He left the production with all of the blueprints and schematics for all of the props of the Batman TV show, so that later on in life he could steal the Batmobile for himself.
Yes. Now you've seen the end of my masterful plot.
And I just remember kind of feeling very disheartened because you see Julie Newmar, at this point it was middle-aged Julie Newmar, and ancient-looking Frank Gorshin, who still can do the Riddler laugh, but he looks like he's about to keel over at any second.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that's a special feature on the Blu-ray. You let me know if it is or not.
I will. That would be good. Because I want to see that. I'm going to track that down, regardless of whether I get the Blu-ray or not. No, Gorshin was the best Riddler, though. That guy just got it. Yeah.
You've been listening to the Chat Cave here on McGTV. Again, youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. You can follow more of Max's exploits over at the Three Geeks podcast, youtube.com/Three Geeks Network. Again, I mentioned before the Remake Revolution. Check out the episode I did with him and Dan, where we remake old movie and TV properties. We talked about remaking a Spawn franchise and threw around some cool ideas there, so check out that video. And you can follow both of us on Twitter at Mike McGTV and at Three Geeks Podcast. We'll try to squeeze in maybe one or two more, or at least one more maybe for the month. Would you want to try for something Halloween related next time?
Yeah, we can. There's the Long Halloween. We could cover that. There's a few different Halloween Batman.
Tell you what, we'll discuss some more, but I believe Long Halloween would be a very good topic maybe for a quick episode next week or something.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all for right now, everybody. Again, happy 75th Wonder Woman. And got anything left to say, Max?
I'll see you again in the chat cave, old chum.
See you next time. Same chat time, same chat channel. youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. Have a good night.